Yeah, really high, top class player also. As a captain, as a person, on the pitch and off the pitch. On the pitch, he's always the one who wants to lead the team, who wants to lead the group. Off the pitch, he's always, even then, he's always thinking about football. Of course, you have some personal conversations with him also, but he's always thinking about football. And on the pitch, you see how classy is his touches, his finishing. And on the pitch also, he's keeping us sharp, and he always goes in front of the team.
Mickey, thank you very much for joining us. I wanted to ask you, so far, I mean, obviously you're just new to the Premier League, new here at Tottenham. What's it been like for you so far?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The Premier League, of course, is the highest level you can play for me as a player. It's the best league, and when I heard Spurs had some interest in me in the summer, then sometimes you have the feeling like you're dreaming a bit because a top team in the Premier League wants to sign you. And since now I really enjoy it to play here, to play in front of the fans, and to play with these amazing teammates.
What's it like to play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? I mean, I played at the old, White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
That was pretty special. But I mean, for me, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is the best stadium in the country.
Yeah, I think the same. Yeah, I think the same. No, I really I enjoy it every time. It's full, and the people just push us every time again and again to reach our highest level. And yeah, every time when you walk out, you look around, you're like, yeah, we can go again, and you just feel every time like the adrenaline takes you, like it's showtime again. So it's really special to play in the stadium. Yeah.
What's the biggest difference for you from the Bundesliga to playing now in the Premier League?
That's a good question. People ask me a lot this question, to be honest. But I will say the physicality is quite similar to the Bundesliga. But here the tempo is much higher, and I think there's more individual quality. So every team you play against, they got some really quality players. Of course, in the Bundesliga it's the same, but yeah, I have the feeling that the tempo and the level is always on its highest, and there's no moment you can switch off because then you can get killed. So that's for me is the huge difference, like the intensity and the tempo of the game. But what I say, the physicality is quite similar, because in Germany, some teams they just play the long ball and just play for the second ball, and you have to fight the whole game, and the pitches are not really well. So I will say it's the tempo and the intensity. Now,
in the Premier League, when you were growing up as a kid watching the Premier League?
No, to be honest, when of course you see the players like Vidic, Ferdinand, like they were in top class, and you had John Terry, who was a world class player. But when I was young, my idol was Puyol, and he didn't play in the Premier League. So,
what's it been like for you this season in terms of your highs and lows? I mean, I know you've had an injury, a long-term injury, which you recovered from really quickly. I think surprised a lot of people how quickly it was. So, is that kind of a low for you of the season so far?
Yeah, I would say this was a big setback, because we played really well till this game. I got injured. I won't say that the team went down because of the injury, but after the Chelsea game we had so many injuries and we had suspensions, and yeah, for a player individually, when you play every game and it's going well, then it's so mental when you get injured, and when you sit in the office and you did the scan and they tell you it's going to be taking about 3 months. Yeah, it's mental as a football player, because every time you want to play, you want to be on the pitch and not on the sideline. But I think this was my biggest setback. Yeah.
You play with Christian Romero, who's a World Cup winner. What's that like to play alongside him, and what have you learned from him, obviously being your first season in the Premier League as well?
For me, Romero is world class. Of course, what you say, he won the World Championship, but how you see him on the pitch, like he's a leader. He want to take the team, and he's always 100%. Sometimes, of course, people see also he's a bit too aggressive, but yeah, he's a top class player on the ball and without the ball with defending. I can promise you this guy is not scared for anyone, and he keeps going every game. And from the start, he helping me. The first game we started, but he went off with a head injury. But afterwards, he was there straight from day one. He helped me here, and he spoke with me, and he helped me with the system they play, because I wasn't here for pre-season, so he helped me at the beginning. And yeah, what I say, he's just a world-class player.
What's it like being working under Postecoglou? Obviously, we're an Australian broadcaster, and we obviously support him a lot and watch him a lot and think very highly of him. What's it been like for you working under him?
Yeah, I really like the way he thinks about football. It's really clear he just wants us to play, and every time over and over again, and he gives us the trust as the team that we can do it. And of course, sometimes you have like some trainers that they tell you you have to play, but when you make the mistake, they're gonna scream at you, or they were like, yeah, what are you doing? But like even now, when we keep playing from the back, and when you make a mistake, he wants us to try again and again and again, every time over and over. And he gives us the trust that we can do it, so he don't give us the pressure that we can't make mistakes. He's always like, you can just keep doing it, and when you make a mistake, it doesn't matter, just try it again and again. And I think this is really important as a player, that you feel the trust that you can do it and don't have the feeling like you can't make a mistake.
What's the thing that you've probably learnt the most from him so far?
It's a good question. I think in football relevance, like from the build-up, like there are so many options. And when I came from Germany, of course, I don't play professional football for that long. But there are so many options in the build-up, and sometimes he came with option. I was like, yeah, it's true. I didn't know this was. Of course, it's possible, but I never thought about this like this. So I think I will say in football, like the way of playing, I learned the most from him.
You've got some big name players. Son, obviously being one of them, he's backing up from the Asian Cup. How big of influence is he on the team? As obviously your captain as well. How highly do you rate him?
Yeah, really high, top-class player also. As a captain, as a person, on the pitch and off the pitch. On the pitch, he's always the one who wants to lead the team, wants to lead the group. Off the pitch, he's always, even then, he's always thinking about football. Of course, you have some personal conversations with him also, but he's always thinking about football. And on the pitch, you see how classy is his touches, his finishing. And on the pitch also, he's keeping us sharp, and he always goes in front of the team.
This is Son! And they might just do it for Spurs!
Is he one of the most difficult to come up against in training?
Yeah, I think so.
Who's impressed you the most in the Premier League, other than any of the players in your own team, but as an opponent you've come up against? Who's really tested you?
When we played against, it was not one player, to be honest, but when we played against City, this was a really difficult game, because every time they played in the pockets, and when they played here at our stadium, the first half we were searching what to do, and they came out every time. But if you look at a personal player who was really good, I didn't play, of course, against the. Everybody says, of course, Haaland is the best striker. I didn't play against Haaland. People say Watkins is a great striker. I didn't play against him, so it's difficult to say, to be honest.
You're the quickest ever in the Premier League history, 37.38 kilometres an hour. I mean, I don't think many people thought you were that quick. You knew you were that quick, right?
Yeah, I knew.
Did you know that you were genuinely that quick?
No, I didn't know I was that quick, but I knew I was quick. And of course, because I'm this tall, people always think like you're a bit slower. So I can remember when it came to Wolves, I also told some players like, yeah, I'm quite quick. And they were like, no, this guy can be quick. And then they saw me sprint, they were like, yeah, this guy is quick.
Is it something you work on? Is it something you've worked on? You talked about strength, about growing and getting bigger physically. Is that certainly would have helped your speed as well? Yeah,
I trained it because when I was younger, I grow really fast. So I became tall really fast. So you don't sometimes have the control about your running anymore. So your knees getting hurt and you just look so slow in your movement and everything. So I worked about this, and I worked about how to run at the best way. And I think that really helped me with getting my speed back from when I was younger. You don't score many goals, but you scored your first goal for Tottenham against Luton. I'll set the scene a little bit. Obviously, you dominated play. There was a lot of chances. Thomas Kaminski played very well for Luton in goal. And then Basuma gets sent off just before half-time. They come into it a little bit. Vicario, who I'll talk about in a second, who's been outstanding for you this season. And then you pop up within 6-yard box. It was a corner, wasn't it? It was a short corner.
Short corner.
Decky played it to Maddis.
Talk us through it.
Yeah, Decky played it to Maddis. Maddis dribbled past the defender. And I know when Maddis goes through the back line, he's looking for the cutback. So I stepped back and he played it on my left feet. And I had to turn my hips, to be honest, quite open. And then I tapped it in. I just see it goes in the back of the net. And then it's amazing feeling.
And is that one of the best goals you've scored?
Yeah, I think so. I also scored for Wolfsburg. My first goal was against Dortmund. We played at home. We won 2-0. this was also a good goal, but I think my first Premier League goal was a bit more special.
You're an Ajax fan, and the irony is you're here playing for Tottenham, but you're at the game, right? The semi-final.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because you were in the stands watching it, and obviously you're supporting Ajax at the time because they're your team. What was that like?
Yeah,
I watched it on TV. And it was unbelievable.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was always Ajax fan. I had a season ticket with my dad. We went to every game, and then of course you had this special Champions League season of Ajax. And then Tottenham came to the arena.
I mean, Ajax won 1-0 at Tottenham Stadium, right? So it was a game you probably felt confident you were going to win.
Yeah. It was 2-0 at half-time. So people next to me already booked the tickets to the final destination. And I spoke about it with my dad because at the end of the first half, Tottenham just keep pushing a bit. And I spoke with it about my dad, and I was like, if Tottenham scored fast the second half, it's gonna shake for sure. And then it was 2-1, 2-2, and it was just I can remember when Lucas Moura scored the 3-2 in minute 96. I think the whole stadium was just silence. The only thing you knew were the away fans, and this game it was just. Now it's more special because I play for Tottenham that I can say, because everybody is still talking about it here. Yeah. So now it's more special that I can say, I was there. And now you play for the team that you were looking over there, but this game was, what you say was unbelievable.
Talk to us about playing under Ange, playing the high line, because people, you hear all the critics, the experts saying, it's crazy, you're down to 9 men, you can't play a high line, you can't play for 90 minutes. What's it like as a player when you go out there? Is there an enormous amount of belief, confidence?
Yeah, we know what to do. So for us, it's normal. Of course, when we played against Chelsea, maybe it was a bit too extreme, and we spoke about it also with the defensive line after the game. But yeah, for us, it's normal, and of course, people are shaking a bit because of the high line, because we play with so many space in our back. But I think with Destiny, with Pedro, with me, with Guti, we also have the pace to recover it. And it's playing with risk, but you also see most of the time the players run offside, and we know it's offside because we know our strong line. And because of the referee, the linesmen, they don't put their flag up in the air. Everybody is shaking and they're like, oh, they don't have the control, but we know it's offside, so we know we have control of their attackers. And that's why people always think like, oh, maybe it's too high because they keep going through, but at the end, it's offside.
And that comes about because of the hard work on the training field, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of repetition, a lot of working through that defensive shape.
Yeah, we train 2 times a week with only the defenders about this and about some other things, of course.
As a footballer, how do you feel that you've developed coming from Holland, then making the step up to the Bundesliga and then now in the Premier League? How different are you as a player now to say when you first started off in Holland and then the Bundesliga?
I think also with physical, I really become a bigger player. When I started in Holland, I was 18, and I was just a tall, skinny guy, and you don't really know about like the tactics, about how to play smart against good strikes. Because sometimes when I was 18, I played against a guy who was 32 and had so many experience, and he just got me everything with his little traps, and I trapped in it every time again and again. So you're gonna learn about this, and then. Of course, I made a step to the Bundesliga from the second league of Holland. Was quite a big step. The first year was a difficult year because I came in 2 times and I only started 2 times in the first year, and I also got a hamstring injury this year. And the second year, Niko Kovac came, and he just from the start he gave me the confidence and the trust that I should play. And I think this year goes really well. And then. When you play on this high level also in the Bundesliga and with the physicality of these players in the Bundesliga, you become more a man and not the little guy anymore that you were when you were really young. So you become more like a man, and I think that Bundesliga step and that year in the Bundesliga really helps me to make the step to the